Howdy, EDCI 648. My name is Jennifer Daly, and this is my community inquiry project, specifically the Interviews Digital Story. The topic I chose is teacher quality in urban education. As we have learned throughout the course, the quality of teachers is inconsistent throughout all American cities and school districts. Teacher quality is one of the most important factors impacting student achievement. For example, there is so much research that validates an unmistakable correlation between student achievement and teacher quality, as Hill Jackson and Stanford quoted 2017 in our course readings. So let's meet the interviewees. First, we have Dr. Walterine, who is a Texas A&M assistant professor in education and human development. Then we have Christina Galinda, who is an urban teacher at Hamilton Middle School in Houston Heights, and she's a Texas A&M master's educational psychology student. Then we have Richard Hain, who is a college director of operations, and he has his associate in business administration. The four central themes that were analyzed from the information from the interview questions are teachers who care and gentle, teacher qualifications, teacher discipline and diversity, equity, and inclusion, and teacher monitoring progress and student achievement. A little more in depth into the questions. Overall, on teachers who care and gentle, the interviewers just showed that the teachers that cared through their actions and went above and beyond were the most impactful in the classroom. As we have learned through the TED Talk by Wandix White on how students deserve to be cared for and that teachers need to critically reflect if they care for their students. And also in chapter 2, Gentle Teaching in a Violent Society in Hill Jackson and Stanford, is that to teach in urban schools, you need to understand the realities of the students. And it's an important fact that understanding empathy and how gentle teaching can positively impact students in urban schools. The next one is teacher qualifications. All interviewees agreed that there needs to be some improvement on training and qualification requirements, such as internships to improve teacher quality. This has been discussed in our readings from class. For example, chapter 4, the myth of the fully qualified, bright young teacher, talked about how the fact that young teachers are part of the issues in schools, and they critique the ways current teachers are recruited into practice and the preparation to become a teacher. There's also outside sources that reflect from Eckhart 2013 that the clear problem is the measurement of quality of preparation for these teachers, and how when you enter a high poverty, high minority urban school, it's desperately in need of quality teaching force. And to retain these teachers, teachers need to believe in the success of their students. Next, I want to show you a quick clip from the interview question. So, how would you improve teacher quality? Any recommendations for teachers that you've seen that teachers can improve on?
Well, that's a good question. You can write a book about that if you want. What do I have recommendations? I think my answers are probably mostly relevant if I, translate them towards the situation here in the United States. Mm-hmm. So it's my understanding that to become a teacher here, in some cases you only have to do 1 year of education. Mm-hmm. I think that's absolutely ridiculous. Let me just tell you what it's like in the Netherlands. So in the Netherlands, if you do what's called the PABO and you want to become a teacher, even if it's an elementary school teacher, and I say the word even in a bit of a sarcastic tone, because right. it's an enormously demanding and incredibly important and complicated job that these people do. And I think it's even more important than being a pilot of an airplane or a military commander, perhaps not a general, but you're putting an enormous trust in these individuals. So in the Netherlands, if you do that kind of education, it's 4 years.
As stated, Waltering describes how we need to improve qualifications for teachers, especially within them getting more experience in internships or field experience. The next topic was teacher discipline and DEI. The interviewees' consensus was that student behavior and discipline are definitely challenges teachers face. Something needs to be done for those consequences, but more effective strategies than zero tolerance. No talk about diversity, equity, inclusion was ever mentioned in the classrooms until a few years ago. Some of the class references that are related to this are the TED Talk on restorative justice that speaks to removing the process and leading to more positive interactions that can minimize school to prison pipeline, and Paguro et al. 2021, where zero tolerance can have the capacity to trigger discomfort, mistrust, and apprehension among all students, and results show that less strictness improved graduation rates. Next, I'm going to show you a small clip from Christina's interview. She has experience in urban education in terms of zero tolerance.
They both suck to a certain point. I don't like the zero tolerance, and I personally don't like restorative justice. I don't think either of them really work. We need to try to find a happy medium that allows for these kids to be held accountable to the mistakes, not really to the mistakes, but to their choices, and then find methods that actually support the child and the family, because I know there are discrepancies when it comes to discipline, that more minority students, especially low SES, they're the ones that usually get the worst of it compared to the other counterparts.
The last thing we had was on teacher monitoring student progress and achievement in the classroom. Overall, all the interviewers agreed that teachers overall who care about student achievement and student progress, that they do care about it, but there needs to be more put into place with regards to feedback. This can relate to the class references on Chapter 7, the process of monitoring in Chenoweth 2017. It showed that when you monitor student growth, it's an effective improvement in most of the school districts that they saw. And also an outside resource and Lekwa et al. 2019 showed that in general, students in classrooms with higher quality of evidence-based teaching practices, such as student monitoring, showed more gains in the classroom. Now I want to show a clip from the interview with Rich regarding this topic of monitoring progress in the classroom. So was there a system in place to communicate your progress ever?
Yeah, I mean, in my college classes, I can check my grades online anytime. I can see how I'm doing. Some of the instructors actually have given good feedback with every assignment, and other instructors provide no feedback. They just give you a letter grade, and then when it's a poor letter grade or a poor point grade, you ask them, and they don't volunteer any positive or any positive or critical feedback. So some are very good at it, some aren't.
Overall, what I learned is that with higher quality teachers that show that they care, have great qualifications and experience, and use evidence-based discipline and classroom monitoring, can lead to better teachers, better schools that succeed and can make a positive difference in urban settings. Thank you so much. Here are the references that I used. Thank you. Bye.